My name is Melanie Neisinger, and I am going to be your yoga teacher for this next hour. First, I'd like to ask you to try to grab something like a blanket or a fluffy towel, a beach towel, or maybe even a cushion from your couch, like an accent pillow, just something that you might be able to use for a little cushion underneath your knees or maybe behind your head. So just take a moment to maybe step away and grab those things as I introduce myself. So my connection to Inheritance of Hope is through my husband, Henry. Henry and Zachary, our son, were on the 2015 trip to New York. My husband is a cancer survivor. He had stage 3 germ cell cancer that was recurrent, and he went through 2 different stem cell transplants. And so happy to say that currently he is 5 years of no evidence of disease. So we had that connection with the family members from the 2015 trip, but we have also been witness to several years of families coming through the retreats that are very dear to our hearts. So I'm very glad to be here and able to give to the organization in this way and be with you for this time of gentle relaxation and moving through some gentle movements linked with breath. And that is what yoga is all about, breath linking movement. So just know that at any time, if you just need to simply sit still and breathe, that you're still participating in the yoga class. You can also be in a chair the entire time if you needed to, and maybe just move with the arm motions that I'm cueing. And I'll also maybe have some suggestions of different variations you can take if you are seated in a chair. But just know that simply breathing will be all that you have to do for this time. Also, at the end of our class, I will be putting us into a position that we're reclined. So again, maybe having that blanket or that towel available. And then I'll lead you through a guided meditation and into some time where you can just relax. It's called Shavasana. And at the end of that time, you can feel free to just turn off the video and just relax as long as you would like to. But I will be bringing you out of the Shavasana and closing our time together. But again, if you like to feel just completely relaxed and let go, you might shut down the video at the end of the guided meditation. So to get started today, we'll be in this seated position. This is where if you had a towel or some kind of cushion, you might place that underneath your sit bones to lift up your hips so that they're really higher than your knees, and you can bring your hands out onto the top of your knees with your palms facing up, and then gently curl your fingertips in towards your palms, and then close down your eyes and maybe take a soft gaze off the tip of your nose. We'll take a few moments here to connect to our breath. So take a deep full breath inhale through your nose, and then big clearing sighing exhale out your mouth. Do that again, deep as full breath inhale, bring the breath up as high as you can. And then again, open your mouth and sigh or exhale out. This time, seal your lips and inhale through your nose into the lowest points of your rib cage and pause. And then continue to inhale, bring the breath into the middle of your chest and pause. And then bring your breath all the way up to the back of your throat and pause and hold there. And then again, open your mouth and just sigh or exhale out. Feel like you can release your exhale down into your lowest belly point. And then seal your lips, and this time begin to inhale through your nose and just expand into the side ribs, the side lungs, as you lift the heart space and bring the breath all the way up to the back of the throat. And then keeping a little bit of lift at the heart, begin to exhale through your nose. feeling like you can bring the exhale down to your low belly and feel a connection to slightly pulling in the front side of your body toward the back body and sit taller on your exhale. Before again beginning that process of a slow, even inhale, weaving through your torso and all the way up to the back of the throat. And then a slow exhale, sensing that as you exhale, you're feeling like you're grounding into your sit bones and upper thigh bones. And we'll breathe in this way for several cycles of breath, using the breath, regulating the breath, helps us detach from any busy thoughts that might be in the mind, any difficult emotions or anxieties that we might be dealing with. So as we breathe here, just imagine that you're creating for yourself this little oasis of peace and calmness, this place that is very serene and still. Just sense that within your heart space is a place that is wise, a place that is compassionate and kind, a place where all is well. In this moment, with this breath, all is well. Then bring your hands together into a prayer position in front of your heart. And then take a deep, full breath inhale through your nose. And again, open your mouth and just sigh or exhale out. And then release your hands down to the tops of your knees and slowly blink open your eyes. And then we'll come into a reclined position on our back. So if you are seated on any support, just take a few moments to set that to the side. I'll also show you how you can move into a more supported variation with the cushion behind your head. So just have your cushion available for your head to rest on if you know that you need a little extra support. And then scoot up to the short edge of your mat. And then slowly just begin to round your spine, lowering all the way down onto the ground. And if you do have a little support behind you, just make sure that it's only supporting your head and the top of your neck, so it's not all the way underneath your shoulder blades. And then give yourself a big body on here. So reach your arms up alongside your ears, point your toes down, and then arch your lower back away from the earth as you really actively reach your fingertips away from you. Feel like you're just stretching the entire length of your body. Be here for another inhale. And then exhale, release your arms down to your sides with your palms facing up. Then slide your hands a little bit further away from your hips. And then lift your heart up toward the sky so that your upper back is lifting away from the earth. And then tuck your shoulder blades closer together underneath you and lower back down. And roll your big toes away from each other. And just take a few breaths here, feeling into the entire length of your body. So like a big body scan from head to toe. And see if you can give yourself permission to truly relax and sink the backside of your body into the support of the earth. So from the back of your skull and the length of your neck, the points of your shoulders, and all the way down the length of your spine, sensing into releasing at the tailbone and the outer hip points. And just taking a few cycles of breath here, feeling that you're relaxing down the lengths of the arms and the legs. And as you relax the length of your arms, feel like the tips of your fingers are curling in towards your palms. This gives your mind a signal that you're ready to receive and give in and let go. then slowly begin to bend your right knee in towards you. And then either slide your hands behind your knee, or if you're more open, you might be able to interlace your fingers around your right shin. If this feels really tight in your lower spine, rolled up off the mat, then bend your left knee and place the sole of your left foot onto the ground. If you're in a chair, you might just pull your right knee up the same way. So you can place your hands underneath your knees, or maybe interlace your fingers around the shin. Keeping your eyes closed or gaze off the tip of your nose, and we'll hold and breathe here. So relax the muscles of your face, your jaw, release the tops of your shoulders down away from your ears. And return to that sensation of your shoulder blades just melting into the earth. If your left leg is straight, flex your left foot so your left toes are looking at you and you're pressing into your left heel. And notice how this helps you feel like you're further grounding into that left thigh bone and left hip. Here for one more breath. And then we'll move into a twist. So place your left hand to the outside of your right knee and roll onto the top of your left hip so your right hip is stacked on top of the left. And then reach your right arm out to the side. And depending on how your neck feels, you might keep your gaze up toward the sky. That would keep your neck more neutral. Or maybe you turn your gaze towards your right fingertips, feeling a heaviness on your right shoulder blade. If you're in a chair, you might just turn to your right and maybe place your left hand to the outside of your right leg or maybe onto the chair. And again, remind your face to stay relaxed. Make sure you're not creating extra gripping in the jaw or the neck. Just hold and breathe here. Sending your exhale down as low as you can, and notice how it helps you settle into your twist. Here for another inhale. And as you exhale, slowly begin to return to laying onto your back. This time straighten your right leg up toward the sky, and then interlace your fingers at the back of the leg just below the knee. This is again a place that you could bend your left knee and place the sole of your foot onto the ground to help with that. And then you just begin to point and flex your foot. If you're in a chair, maybe you can just straighten your right leg and have your right heel resting on the earth and moving your foot in this way. And then begin to make some circles with your ankle. And then switch the direction of your circle. And then wiggle out your toes and see if you connect to each and every toe, just wiggling on its own. These are called yoga toes, when you can spread your toes wide apart and wiggle them out. And then begin to pause and flex both of your feet if your left leg is straight. And your right heel then begins to kick up toward the sky. And feel like your right pinky toe is trying to rotate toward you. Again, notice if you created any extra gripping in the muscles of your face or jaw. So you relax and lengthen down the back of your neck and melt your large torso into the earth. And then reach your arms up alongside your ears with your palms facing up. Take an inhale breath. And when you exhale, slowly begin to lower your right leg all the way back down to the ground. And bring your arms back down to your sides with your palms facing up. Just check in here, take a few breaths. Notice all the changes you created on the right side of your body. your right leg. It might even feel a little bit longer. And then we'll switch sides. So bend your left knee in towards you and either slide your hands behind the knee or maybe you can interlace your fingers around the shin. And then flex your right foot and ground into that right side of your body unless it feels really off balance. And then you can bend your right knee and place the sole of your right foot onto the ground. If you're in a chair, you might be pulling your left knee up closer to you, sliding your hands behind your knees, or maybe you can make that interlace. And again, we'll just hold and breathe here, using as opposed to, again, stay connected to the breath. So sensing into the quiet stillness within, as you hold and bring warmth into that left groin crease, hamstring and hip. Then we'll move into a twist. So place your right hand to the outside of your left knee, and then roll all the way onto the top of your right hip so that your left hip is stacked on top of the right. And then reach your left arm out to the side and either keep your gaze up toward the sky if that feels best for your neck, or maybe you can turn and gaze towards your left fingertips. Just feeling like your left knee is trying to move closer to the earth. You might pull your left knee up a little bit higher as you release your left shoulder down. If you're in a chair, you might just be turning and gazing over your left shoulder while bringing your right hand to the outside of your left leg, or maybe you can reach down and grab the chair. And for another inhale. And as you exhale, return to laying onto your back. And then straighten and extend your left leg up toward the sky. Interlace your fingers at the back of the leg just below the knee. This is where you can re-bend your right knee. Place the sole of your foot on the ground to help with that if you needed to. And if you are in a chair, just straighten your left leg out in front of you so that your left heel is resting on the earth. And then we'll warm up our ankle and foot here again. So begin to point and flex your foot. So feel like your toes are moving away from you and then coming more towards you. And then make some circles with your ankle where you rotate in one direction and then switch the direction of the circle. And then wiggle out your toes. Again, see if you can find your yoga toes. Begin to pause and flex both of your feet, especially if your right leg is straight. Have that sensation that your left heel is pressing up toward the sky while your left pinky toe is trying to rotate towards you. Relax your face and jaw. Make sure you haven't created any pricking there. And as you breathe, feel that connection to your breath, sinking all the way down into the lowest belly point and slightly pulling the front side of the body toward the back body on your exhale. And then bring your arms up alongside your ears with your palms facing up. Take an inhale breath, and when you exhale, slowly lower your left leg all the way back down to the ground. And then bring your arms down to your sides with your palms facing up. And just notice all the balance you've created in the right and left side of your body. Feeling more warm, open, and free. Begin to bend your knees. Eventually drop your knee bones in so that your knee bones touch and walk your feet out to the edges of your mat. So your pinky toes are near the edges of your mat. And then reach your arms out to your sides with your palms facing down. And just begin to windshield wiper your knees from side to side. So you're keeping one knee on the inside of your opposite leg the entire time. If you're in a chair, you can maybe just gently rock your knees side to side in this way, keeping your sit bones connected to your chair. And the next time your knees come over to the right, let them fall all the way down and bring your left arm with you and roll into a fetal position comfortably, just resting here for a few cycles of breath. Just feeling all the warmth you've created on the backside of your body, your spine, into your low back and hips. And then press your left hand into the earth so you can sit up. And then I'm going to turn to face you. You can continue to face the short edge of your mat if you would like. You're going to have your legs straightened out in front of you and your feet separated a little bit further than hip distance. This is where you might grab your support, and if it feels like you'd love to have a little extra cushion underneath your sit bones, just take a moment to set that up. And then lean back on your hands with your fingertips pointed away from you. And then scoop up your heart and pull into your core so you're not dumping and rolling your shoulders down. You're trying to stay nice and lifted. And we'll do some of those same motions that we did with our feet up toward the sky, just now we'll be on the ground. So begin with your right foot and just begin to make some circles with your ankle. And then switch the direction of your circle. And then switch sides, begin to make circles with your left foot. And then switch the direction of your circle. And now with both feet, begin to point your toes down so you're feeling a nice stretch across your shins. And then relax your feet. So really kick it into your heels and feel like you're pulling your toes towards you. Just doing this a few times. Feeling how we're continuing to warm up the entire length of your legs. And then with your toes facing upward, begin to wiggle them out. So again, finding your yoga toes. See if you can connect to that sense that you're wiggling out each and every one of your toes. Maybe try to really spread your big toe and your pinky toe really far apart. And then just begin to rock your toes, your heels, side to side. And then come into a seated position so your torso is stacked above your hips. And then bring your right foot in towards your left leg. So bend your right knee and then place the sole of your right foot to the inside of your left thigh. And then begin to bounce your right knee up and down. Just warming up in this thigh joint here, the outer hip. And then we'll just switch sides. So straighten your right leg and bring your opposite leg in. Bend your left knee. Bring the sole of your foot to the inside of your opposite leg and begin to bounce that knee up and down. And then straighten your leg back out in front of you. And then again, lean back on your hands, keep your heart scooped up. And then bend your knees. And we'll just begin to windshield wiper our knees side to side again. So just rocking to the edges of your feet as you drop your knees side to side. Just warming up again, the waist to the outer hips. And pausing in the center, begin to bring your heels closer to you so that you can eventually wrap your arms around your shins, drop your head down, and then press your spine to the back of wherever your room you're in. And then slowly begin to release, and then we'll come into a tabletop position. So this is where you might want to have the cushion underneath your knees if you feel like you need a little extra support underneath your knees. So you come on to your knees. Eventually stack your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. Have your knees separated about hip distance apart. And then spread your fingers wide apart. Firmly press your palms into your mat. And then broaden across your shoulder blades. So move your shoulder blades away from each other. And then feel a connection to your lowest core muscles. So pull your core muscles up towards your spine. So you're in a tabletop position, a really strong table. Imagine that you could balance a vase of flowers right in the middle of your back. And then keep pressing your palms down. As you inhale, tip your sit bones up and gaze up, opening your throat. And then exhale, keep pressing your palms into the mat. Just lift your core and press the length of your spine up toward the sky. So this is cat-cow. And just continue to do this at your own pace, your own rhythm. You might even close down your eyes. It also might feel good to shift your hips side to side and shift out your head. I'll show you an option if you're in a chair. Let me turn to face you. You would interlace your fingers, then flip your palms away from you. Then as you inhale, you reach your hands up, arch your back, and exhale, press into your palms and press your spine toward the back of your chin. So wherever you're at, we're all just trying to really move each and every vertebra of the spine, trying to find any kinks or tightness, and work it out with these slow, gentle movements. Let's move through one more complete cycle. And then returning to your tabletop position, straighten your right leg back behind you, keeping your right toes on the ground, and then tuck under your toes and really press into the ball. Then we're going to bring our right foot forward so that it's in between your thumbs. So just step your right foot forward in between your thumbs. And then tuck under your left toes so that you can straighten your left leg up enough that you can hump your left toes all the way up to the top of the mat. End up with your feet hip distance apart and your big toes parallel. And then lift up on your inhale halfway to lengthen your spine from tailbone to crown. So you're creating a straight line here. And then exhale, begin to fold in. This is where you might need to bend your knees if your hamstrings feel really tight. your fingertips to stay on your shins, or you might be more open where they can drop down toward your ankles, or maybe all the way down to your earth, down to the earth. Then just shake out your head here, relax the tops of your shoulders, down your back. And then inhale, lift up again halfway to lengthen your spine from tailbone to crown. And exhale, keep all that beautiful length as you fold in. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lifting up to lengthen. Then exhale, fold and dropping the crown of your head toward the earth. And then keep pressing your feet into the ground. Reach your arms out to the sides. Come all the way up to standing. Eventually your fingertips reach up and your palms are facing in. Pull into your core and feel like your tailbone is in line with the earth. And then exhale, release your arms down to your sides. And just stay where you are. I'm going to step into the middle of my mat so I can face you. And then just again, next to moving out each and every one of your toes. So wiggle out your toes. And then we'll come into a mountain pose. So maybe try rocking too far forward into the balls of your feet. And then back into your heels so that you can lift the tips of your toes. Rocking too far forward, almost feeling like you're losing your balance. And then rock into your heels so you can lift the tips of your toes. Then try placing each and every one of your toes down individually. So again, connecting to that sense of being able to move our toes on their own. And then imagine that the tips of your toes are like little flower petals, and that you're just gently placing them onto the earth. And then lift your kneecaps so that you can engage the muscles of your thighs. And imagine you have a block right in between your thighs. So you're feeling your thighs internally rotate toward one another. And then feel like you're pulling the lowest muscles of your core slightly back so that your tailbone's remaining neutral on the earth. So I'll show you on the side here. So you're pulling in instead of having your back swaying out, you're pulling in enough so that everything stays in a nice equal line. And then have your arms out to your sides with your thumbs rotated away from you. And then keep that connection to your core and feel like as you inhale, you're really bringing your breath all the way up to your collarbones and that the tips of your shoulders are slightly moving backward. And then now imagine that vase of flowers balanced right on the crown of your head. So you're keeping your chin parallel to the earth. Standing up really nice and tall in your mountain pose. So imagine that you're pulling energy from the strength and stability of the earth through the midline of your body and extend it beyond the top of your head. Just sensing in again to this beautiful oasis of peace and serenity that's surrounding you. Connecting to the strength of the earth, knowing that it can help support us. Give us a place that feels like a firm foundation that we can anchor into as we stand strong in our mountain pose. Let's all take a deep full breath inhale through the nose. And then open your mouth and sigh your exhale out. And then I'm going to turn back to the short edge of my mat, so maybe you did the same. So if you did, then make sure you're just at the top of your mat and come back into your mountain pose. So establish that connection to be rooted into all four corners of your feet. Strengthen your thighs, have your arms out to your sides with your thumbs rotating back. Pull that line of energy from the earth and stand up nice and tall. And then inhale, sweep your arms up alongside your ears so your palms are facing in. Again, imagine you have a beach ball in between your hands as you energetically reach up. And then exhale, begin to release your arms out to the side so that you can dive forward. You might keep your knees bent here as you eventually bring your fingertips to your shins, ankles, or all the way down to the earth with your forehead facing your shins. Then inhale, look up to lengthen halfway from tailbone to crown. As you exhale, bend your knees enough that you can plant your hands down and then return to your tabletop position. So lower your right knee down, and your left knee down so that your knees are stacked under your hip bones again. Stack your shoulders over your wrist. You can always take a moment to add any extra padding that you would like to. And then we'll go into a puppy dog stretch, which is keeping your hips stacked over your knees. Just begin to walk your hands way far forward so that you can drop your head through. So you might just be having your ears in line with your inner arms. Maybe you feel more open and you can drop your forehead all the way down to the earth. Really feel like you're creating some openness at your armpit chest. So your armpits are rotating out to the edges of your mat. Spread your fingers wide apart. Continue to press your palms down. So again, you're creating some openness between the shoulder blades. And then begin to walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. And then we'll return to our child's pose. So separate your knees, bring your toes together behind you. Begin to sink your hips back towards your heels as you walk your fingertips up to the top of the mat and drop your head through. Maybe you're beginning to sense into being more open at your groin creases, more warm and free. As you take several cycles of breath here, feel like on your inhale, you're really breathing into the backside of your body, around the back of your heart, in between each and every one of your ribs. And then as you exhale, sink your heart closer to the earth, connecting again to the strength of the earth, its stability, its ability to help us feel protected, help us feel anchored into the present moment. And keeping your chin tucked in, slowly begin to roll up to a seated position and then sit off to either side of your feet so you can bring your legs out in front of you and then straighten your legs all the way out in front of you. This is where you might want to grab your towel or any extra support and have it underneath your sit bones again. And then we'll come into a staff pose. So it's a lot like the mountain pose we were just in. So really flex your feet so you're feeling like your pinky toes are rotating towards you as you energetically reach and press through your heels. You might need to bend your knees a little bit here so that it really feels tight behind your knees and up in your hamstrings. You can still flex your feet, just slightly bend your knees. And then place your hands near your hips. Begin to press your hands into the earth. So again, you're connecting to your core. Slightly pull your lowest core muscles back towards your spine. Sitting up nice and tall and feel like your collarbones are again moving away from you so that the points of your shoulders are slightly moving back. And you have your chin again parallel to the earth. And now again, reimagine that balance of a vase of flowers right on the crown of your head. Staff pose. And then again, we'll move into a twist. So bend your right knee and place the sole of your right foot onto the ground. So you'll have to slide maybe your heel a little bit closer to you and rebalance onto your sit bones. And then maybe you're just placing your left forearm around your right shin and simply turning and looking over your right shoulder. Maybe if you feel more open, you can bring your right fingertips all the way back behind you and prop up onto your fingertips and really hug your right knee in towards you. And if you feel really super open in this twist, you might bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee and really press your knee away so that you're finding some extra space in your twist. So as you inhale, feel like you're bringing your inhale all the way up to your collarbones. And then as you exhale, settle into your twist. And be here for another inhale. And then as you exhale, slowly begin to unwind head, neck, and shoulders. So just move into a counter twist. gazing over to your left for a moment. And then straighten your right leg back out long onto the mat. And we'll simply switch sides. So bend your left knee, place the sole of your foot onto the earth. And we'll settle in equally to your sit bones. Again, if you're in a chair, hopefully you're realizing you can move into these twists and these different motions just using your chair. And then bring your right arm around your left shin and gaze over your left shoulder. You might simply be staying here. Maybe you feel more open and you can bring your left fingertips behind you and really prop up onto your fingertips and press into the earth. Maybe you feel super open and you can bring your right elbow to the outside of your left knee and really press that knee away. Again, on your inhale, feel like your inhale is coming all the way up to your collarbones. And as you exhale, really settle into your twist. Be here for another inhale. And then as you exhale, slowly begin to unwind head, neck, and shoulders, and then move into a gentle counter twist, gazing over your right shoulder. And then coming back to center, straighten your left leg back out long onto your mat. And we'll again come into our staff pose. Flex your feet, bring your hands near your hips, press into the earth, sit up nice and tall, and feel that reach beyond your heels while reaching through and beyond the crown of your head. And then we'll move into a reversed tabletop position. So bend your knees, planting the soles of your feet onto the ground. Have your feet separated out, hip distance apart. And then walk your hands back behind you with your fingertips either pointed towards your low back, or maybe it feels better on your wrists to point your fingertips to the edges of your mat. And then scoop up your heart. This might be as far as you go. If you feel like you have the openness in your hip points and your shoulders, you might press into your heels and begin to lift your hips up, maybe all the way in line with your knees. And then if it feels okay on your neck, you might drop your head back. Wherever you're at, press into your heels, feeling a little lift at your hip points, and feel like you're really shining your heart up toward the sky. Be here for one more inhale. And then exhale, slowly release back down to the ground. And then scoot up to the short edge of your mat, and we will recline. So place the palms of your hands onto your shins and give a gentle pull. So you're sitting up nice and tall and finding some extra length in your spine. Keep all of that extra length as you release your arms alongside your knees. Take an inhale breath, and as you exhale, slowly begin to lower. Feel that connection to your core strength all the way down. So keep your collarbones moving away from each other as you slowly lower all the way onto the ground. Again, reach your arms up alongside your ears, interlace your fingers, flip your palms away from you, point your toes down, and arch your lower back away from the earth. And then release your arms down to your sides with your palms facing up, rolling your big toes away from each other. Let's all take a deep full breath inhale through the nose. Then open your mouth and sigh your exhale out. Just sinking the backside of your body into the support of the earth. Just checking in and noticing all the shifts and the changes you created in your body after moving through those sequence of poses, feeling more warm and open, more quiet and still within. And then flip your hands over so your palms are on the floor. And then begin to bend your knees, sliding your heels closer to your sit bones. Have your feet separated out, just hip distance apart, and your big toes slightly turned in and parallel. And then begin to press into your heels so that you can lift your tailbone and hips up. And then slowly lower, slowly bend your spine, tailbone last all the way down. So we're just going to be moving through this waving motion of a bridge pose is what it's called. So as you inhale, begin to lift up. And as you exhale, slowly lower. We'll do this several more times. Some of you might want to add waving your arms up alongside your ears as you inhale and lift your hips. And as you exhale, waving your arms back down to your sides as you press the length of your spine into the mat, tailbone last. Then inhale, slowly lifting, waving your arms up. And exhale, feeling that release of your spine sinking into the earth. Let's do this 2 more times and really go slow. Imagine that you're moving through water. You might even close down your eyes and just imagine a beautiful ocean, blue and serene, as you wave and move through the water slowly, feeling that connection to being peaceful and lifted as you float in the waves. Once you've released back down to the ground, again, drop your knee bones in so that they touch while walking your feet out to the edges of your mat. So again, your pinky toes are near the edges of your mat. And then this time, see if you can come into cactus tree arms, where your arms are out to your sides, your elbows are bent, and your hands are stacked over your bent elbows. So your arms are at shoulder height. This might feel really uncomfortable on your shoulders though. If so, then try just sliding your hands a little bit further away from you. But you might need to eventually just have your arms all the way down to your side with your hands by your knees, or your hands by your hips. And then again, we'll return to that gentle windshield wiper motion. Just keeping one knee on the inseam of the opposite leg. It might feel more available to you this time to drop your knees down a little bit closer to the ground. And then pausing in the center, bring your arms back down to your sides. Step your heels back underneath your knees with your feet just separated a distance apart. And then keep your left foot on the ground. Just begin to come into what's called thread the needle. So you're going to stack your right ankle on top of your left knee and flex your right foot and feel your right knee moving away from you. This might be as far as you go. Some of you might pick up your left foot so you can bring your left knee closer to you, and you can reach through the keyhole of your legs with your right hand and interlace your fingers behind your left knee or on top of your left shin. If you're in a chair, you might be able to just cross your knees, or maybe you can stack your right ankle on top of your left knee. If neither of those things are available, just cross your right ankle, cross the left on the floor. So there's several variations of this pose, as you can see. The main thing is you want to exhale and really exhale all the way down into the low belly and into that right hip and groin crease. Relax your face and jaw here. Again, sense that the tops of your shoulders are moving away from your ears. You take several breaths here. Sense again that the length of your spine, each and every vertebrae is releasing into the earth, and you're slightly tipping your sit bones down. And then finishing the breath that you're on, slowly begin to release from wherever you're at, and we'll just simply switch sides. So starting out with your right knee bent and the sole of your right foot on the ground, stack your left ankle on top of the right knee, flex your left foot, feeling your left knee moving away from you. You might stay exactly here the whole time. Maybe you feel more open and you'd like to try bringing your right knee closer to you, eventually reaching through the keyhole of your legs with your left hand, and possibly interlacing your fingers behind your right knee, or maybe interlacing your fingers on your right shin. If you're in the chair, again, you might try just stacking your left ankle on top of your right knee if you're really open, or maybe you can cross at the knees, or if that is too much, then just cross your left ankle on top of the right. again, taking slow, even cycles of breath through your nose, melting your shoulder blades into the earth. So imagine that there is a little spot between your shoulder blades, and as you exhale, just melt your shoulder blades into the earth. Relax your face. Really focus more internally, coming into that circular pattern of the breath. Slow, even inhales, matched but equally as slow exhale. And releasing from wherever you're at, hug your knees in just a final time. And maybe just gently rock side to side so you're feeling like you're bringing your lower spine to neutral. And then dropping your feet down to the ground, I'll set up for our final relaxation and guided meditation. So if it feels really comfortable for you, you might just straighten your legs out, have your feet separated maybe wider than hip distance, and roll your big toes away from you. Have your arms down to your sides with the palms facing up. And then lift again your heart up for the sky, tuck your shoulder blades closer together underneath you and lower back down. You can eat like this for several minutes without causing any problem, then you might choose to stay there. If you would like to have your little cushion at the back of your mat underneath your head, you could do that again. Or if you know that your low back's eventually going to hurt if you are laying there for 6 or so minutes, you might roll up your towel or your blanket like a little jelly roll again, place it underneath your knee so that it just gives you a little support for your lower back. And again, we'll just settle in here. I'm going to sit up so that I can read to you. But you just keep your eyes closed or just gaze off the tip of your nose. And then let's again connect to the breath. So take a deep, full breath inhale through your nose. And again, a deep sighing exhale as you just send your exhale down into the lowest belly point. Then again, deep, full breath inhale through your nose, filling up as high as you can. And then exhale, just sensing that you're sinking the backside of your body into the mat. And then seal your lips and just begin to create a really slow and even breath pattern that feels calming and comforting to you. Coming into that rhythm of your breath that helps you, again, feel more connected to the present moment, more connected to the quiet stillness within. As you come into this period of mindfulness practice, you may notice the energy of your day resting in the mind and the body. So just give yourself a few moments here to let go and release any bit of lingering anxiety. Think of yourself as a snow globe, and every snowflake as a thought. In this way, watch as each and every snowflake falls to the ground. Do not force yourself to calm down. Let it happen slowly and organically. Begin to bring your attention to the breath and the body. Choose one spot where the breath is felt easily. It may be the center of the chest, the abdomen, the shoulders, or the nostrils. Observe the physical sensation of the body breathing, observing the breath for a few minutes, bringing the mind back when it wanders. Stick with the snow globe visualization, and as thoughts begin to rise up, observe as they slowly settle back down. After a few more moments of focusing on the breath, bring your awareness to include your thoughts and your general mental state. Instead of returning to the breath when the mind wanders, notice what the mind is doing. You may notice yourself planning, fantasizing, figuring out, or replaying past experiences. Whatever you observe the mind doing, let it be. When you recognize a thought, what happens? Try not to encourage the thought, but don't push it away either. Allow it to be, and allow it to go on its own. See if you can watch the passing of the thought as it follows its natural trajectory and leaves the mind. Return to the breath and patiently wait until another thought arises. Notice it, watch the thought, and come back to the breath again. Continue with mindfulness of the breath and the thoughts. Notice when you're lost in thought or when the mind wanders for some time. If self-judgment arises, notice that just as you would any other thought. You can always return to the breath for a few moments to ground yourself back into the practice. Just being here for several more moments, connecting to the stillness within as you rest and let go. Staying connected to this quiet, peaceful center that you've created. Slowly begin to awaken and reconnect to your breath. Feeling that sensation of pulling your inhale softly through the front side of your body. And then releasing your exhale down the length of your back body. Feeling the support of the earth beneath you. Maybe adding in some small movements like wiggling out your fingers and your toes or reaching your arms above your head. Whenever you feel ready, rolling onto your right side and just curling comfortably into a fetal position for a few more deep belly breaths. And And then pressing your left hand into the earth, return to a comfortable seated position, and we'll close our time together. And then bringing your hands back into that prayer position in front of your heart. Take a deep, full breath, inhale through your nose. And just release your exhale and bow the chin, bowing here to the grace that infuses the heart. Just knowing that at any moment we can connect to the stillness within, connect to this wisdom point, this place where all is well. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you all so much for being a part of this inheritance of hope family. My heart is with you and what all you're going through, and I'm so glad to have you all on my side. Thank you, thank you, thank you.